There are some who think elections now will not help Sierra Leone. In a moment, we'll meet Kwame Fitzjohn, a Sierra Leone journalist, when Global View continues. Welcome back to Global View. Joining me now is Kwame Fitzjohn, a Sierra Leone journalist who is the managing editor of African Profiles International. Welcome to Global View.
Thanks for having me.
You mentioned several times the need for international assistance, and Sierra Leone is not a poor country. It's a poor country. It's classified as perhaps the first or second poorest country in the world, but it has diamonds, it has other mineral resources, it has agricultural land, it has fisheries. Why has it not been able to exploit those resources and the labor of its people to succeed economically?
Well, in the 60s, Sierra Leone was the name of a country. In the 70s and the 80s, Sierra Leone was the name of a wasting disease. We had corruption, which was rampant in the country. It has the capacity to become like the Switzerland of Africa, Sierra Leone. My father, I recall him saying at one time to me, he of course, as an aside, I would say he was a parliamentarian too and a diplomat. He said educated Africans must be called upon to serve in any capacity and at any time when called upon to do so, because if they do not do so, people with less training or none whatsoever will fill the gap.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the African Magazine. For our news headlines, we're visiting the newsroom of AllAfrica.com and we'll talk to senior correspondent Charlie Cobb about the top news of the week.
Yeah, thank you. The Sudanese issue gets more complicated with each passing day.
Last week, we promised to bring you the story of the U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Philadelphia. We now go to that report in our Africa Watch segment, narrated by Kwame Fitzjohn.
Barely days after President Bush's meeting in Washington, D.C. with African government ministers as part of the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, African business leaders and heads of state converged in Philadelphia at the Marriott Hotel from October 30th to November 2nd for the Corporate Council on Africa's third biennial U.S.-Africa Business Summit. Founded almost 10 years ago, the Corporate Council on Africa is a non-profit organization with membership of 190 U.S. firms and counting, ranging from Fortune 500 companies to small and medium-sized businesses. Of the approximately 1,500 people attending the summit in Philadelphia, 600 are African businessmen and women, and 100 are African trade and finance ministers. The presidents of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Algeria participated, as well as 4 prime ministers. A half-dozen other presidents were slated to attend but cancelled when the summit was rescheduled after the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. One of the interesting aspects of the summit is the fact that of the over 600 African business persons who attended the conference, all paid full rate. They were not subsidized and were not under any government. They all came for one reason, and one reason alone: to find business partners and forge joint ventures. However, the recurring theme from potential U.S. business partners during the summit is that Africans must fully understand the requirements for doing business with U.S. companies. The issues of infrastructure, reliable electricity, road systems, and also transparency issues and the rule of law. From the American camp, U.S. Senator Joseph Biden, chair of the Foreign Service Relations Committee, in his keynote address on Wednesday said,
I know all of those of you representing African institutions and countries within Africa fully understand this. And I know you're sitting there thinking, It's easy for that white boy from the United States to stand up here and tell us.
Numerous workshops were sponsored by various companies. ExxonMobil sponsored opportunities in healthcare. There was also a workshop on Libya titled Prospects and Change for American Companies. This workshop took the position that Libya is a significant player in African economic development and is an important petroleum producer on the African continent. Among those that the African magazine spoke to at the summit were the president of the Corporate Council on Africa, Mr. Stephen Hayes. African magazine also spoke to Nigerian-born businessman Hubert Cheyenne of Millennium Strategic. I'm here with Hubert Cheyenne, who is with Millennium Strategic Partners. Hubert is a Nigerian-born businessman here in the United States. And what brings you to this conference?
Well, we are members of the Corporate Council.
African ambassadors were also at hand. Ugandan Ambassador Edith Sempela, representing her country, which arguably is an economic success story, had this to say.
I think that it is a new day as far as I'm concerned. If you remember how Africa was portrayed some years back, such a meeting would be about how to generate aid to Africa. Now this meeting is how to generate business between the United States and Africa.
Ambassador John Lee of Sierra Leone, whose mineral-rich country is reeling back from a just-ended 10-year war with rebels of the Revolutionary United Front.
I think the Exxon Chevron VP for Africa is quite correct. Africa has 20% of the world's natural resources.